Hey.
Hello, my dear friends, and welcome back to Neon Lights Roleplay. More specifically, after such a long time away, welcome you all back to the Seven Sons, our 5e homebrew actual play live stream. I am your host and game maestro, young Foxxii, and gathered with me are five wonderful adventures ready to journey back into the sands of Zor'aa. I will allow them to introduce themselves in overlay order, starting, of course, with the incomparable Lan the Dan. And my
Hi.
question, of course, so please first, when you're ready, introduce yourself, who you are, who you're playing, where people can find you, and the question for today is, were you not yourself, the adventurers you all are, who would you be? Interpret that however you wish. Take it away, Dan, whenever you're ready.
Hey, I'm Land the Dan. I can be found on Twitter, I guess, at Land the Dan. And today I'm playing Mako Sky, the Warforged Rogue, possessed suit of armor, very Halloweeny. And if I weren't in this group of adventurers, I'd have probably, I'd probably be long dead, having lived my life centuries ago, making a making a fairly successful living as a professional thief.
Fair enough. Passing it over to Michelle.
Hey guys, Michelle. Today I'm playing Mitz Tonquaddle, our Coatl wizard. Um, and she/her pronouns today. Don't try to find me, by the way. I don't social media.
Don't look for her.
You cannot find me.
if Mitz wasn't an adventurer, I guess Mitz would probably be, well, one, not godly. Well, maybe still a little bit divine, but probably nose deep buried in the library somewhere.
Totally fair. Let's pass it on over to Lucian.
Hi, I'm Lucian. I play our lizard man Ploy, and the only thing divine about Ploy are his baking skills.
Hey, air horns.
But yeah, that's. I mean, honestly, that's what he would do. He would just set up shop and make have a bakery somewhere.
Fair enough. Passing it then down over to Sirhak.
Hey guys, it's me, Sir Heckalot,
We do know.
People know.
yeah, today I'm playing Zanari, or Z, the storyteller, who is a College of Spirits bard. I don't know what she would be doing if she wasn't, maybe, okay, if she wasn't part of this adventure, I think she would still be out adventuring and stuff, maybe starting a lot more fights in bars or something, I don't know.
Solid. Respect.
But I mean, she has her purpose to find the civilization of people that's been lost to history for the most part. So I think she would still be pursuing that, maybe just in a very different way, and probably wouldn't be married with a kid, but that's how life goes.
That is indeed how life goes, or occasionally how death goes.
Yeah. She's not gonna go, I swear. But anyway, moving on over to Tate.
We'll figure it out. Go ahead, Tate.
Hello, Internet. I'm Tate Washburn. You can find me on Twitter at kinda_writing. And I'm playing Wolf, the shifter werewolf beast barbarian, with as much werewolf boyfriend energy as I can fit into him. If he was not adventurer, like a lot of things would have to be different. Like even if he wasn't this chosen one super shifter, he probably would have left his home anyways and kind of adventured, but if he wasn't an adventurer at all, he would have taken after his parents. His parents, Grim and Stride, are like protectors of his local forest, and Wolf probably would just be like docking his home forest, like making sure that no hunters over hunted or foresters over forested, and people didn't discover any of like the druidic secrets in it. He still kind of loves that, and it's still a little bit what drives him is this sort of I must protect good things. So
Fair enough. It's very wholesome. And of course,
will he be married? Maybe.
who knows? And of course, as mentioned, I am young Foxxii, your game maestro. I'll be playing all those, both in the Mortal Coil and beyond, who are not these 5 individuals. Our last session saw the party returning to the Storm Children hideout as they attempted to recuperate, rest, and rethink where things were. A time for a rest saw a time for a duel, as Wolf took on the mighty Nakyue in a impressive show of martial display. Afterwards, Ploy sat with Durga and discussed the many changes that had now happened, including the passing of his dear friend Net. However, in a vision of the beasts of Zor'aa, he was able to discover some newfound ways to use his Blade Soul abilities. While this went on, or perhaps just before this, Zenari had another chat with her dear Shayada and discovered that divinity is not a finite concept, or it is not an infinite concept, and rather, that Shayada's divinity had to be given, and that in time, she will simply cease to be. All of this preceded and followed by Wolf engaging in one more duel, not with the brutish Nakyue, but with the incomparable Nakali, the leader of the Storm Children. Their fight was brief, but, certainly a show. And towards the end, as Nakali attempted to channel her divine power, she found herself struggling to do so. The party went upstairs to mull over this and were shown a vision by Lady Temin. Kali has slain a god and a god beast. And just as his revelation dawns upon them, Nakali and our dear Mako Sky fall unconscious. We'll begin there. Mako, the place you're in is not one you necessarily know intimately. Rather, it is a place a part of you understands like it was made for it. You sit at, well, a nexus point of sorts. Your soul, rather, flickers about what perception of it you have, distant but still evident, as you attempt to make yourself at least gathering in your surroundings. You realize that all around you is, well, it's not black, it's... I had a friend in college who was blind, born blind. And I got really drunk once and asked him to explain to me in the best way he could what it felt like. And he said, put your hand in the back of your head and try to look at it. And I don't know how best to describe what's around you except that it's something you just can't perceive. You rest in this for what feels like an eternity almost. And then a voice cuts into your head. Oh, sorry about that. Just a moment.
Is this who I think it is?
The scene starts to change. And you find yourself... Well, it would make enough sense to call it a tavern or a bar house of some kind. There are patrons here. You can hear them downstairs. But you're on some kind of upper floor. The ambient noise is just enough that it makes sense, but if you try to focus on anything, say someone's voice or a discernible sound of a drink being poured or a chair being moved. It's not in a language you can understand, and the sounds are just dulled enough that they don't seem real. But you suddenly are able to feel, well, yourself, a body. It's not armored, though. It's a human, adult, male body. One you haven't felt in, well, it's been a while, let me tell you. Yes, how's that? Better?
Hell is going on?
A lot. A door opens that you're almost certain wasn't in the wall to your right just a moment ago. And a figure enters. He appears to look like a human male for the most part. Refined and poised. He wears a suit of noble silks and ornamented in silvers and golds and other fine jewel-like colors you just can't quite place. His hair is slicked back and blonde, his eyes a piercing silver, his smile warm, but it's almost like there's nothing behind it. Listen, I hate to skip all the preamble and everything, but we have a lot to talk about. You want to have a seat?
Who are you?
Responsible for you.
I see. And if Mako goes to take a seat.
Yeah, the moment you take a single step forward, there's a table in there. You weren't really thinking about the room too much, but if you feel like you have a good thought about it, you're maybe not 100% sure the table was there either. Or the chair that you kind of move your hand out and are able to grab. You take a seat in it. It's a simple wooden chair, but it's really comfortable. Really comfortable. The man takes a few steps. He wears these leather, almost metal-plated shoes, but they don't make any sound as they move across the floor, even though this floor is wood. He pulls a chair out across from you at the table, takes a seat, and there's a glass in front of him. You can't make out what's in it, no matter what angle you try to crane your neck to. It's almost like it's empty whenever you look at it, but he swirls something inside of it and takes a nice long. A drink?
Would it even matter here?
If you wanted to.
Why not? It's been a while.
You look down, and whatever drink you felt like you were in the mood for is right in front of you. What is it?
Nice glass of whiskey, probably.
Fair enough. Whiskey it is then. So, yeah, he looks at you and kind of sits quietly for a moment as if he's waiting for you to take a sip of it before he says anything.
Don't let me stop you. I thought we were skipping the preamble.
I like the way you operate. To team. Celebration, travel, wealth, all those things are my domain. God, if you hadn't figured it out by now.
So this makes me, what, number 3?
3 what?
I happen to have some friends who are acquainted with gods of their own.
Ah, clever. Not much
I
gets
would
by
assume
me.
it to be a very exclusive club, so...
Not at this rate, it's not.
Yeah, it actually takes a sip and it says, used to be. Some of us just like getting real buddy-buddy with mortals.
Well, looking around, I'd say you're no exception if you're here with me.
That's where you're wrong. This is a green room, I guess you could call it. I'm setting up for the final act of the show.
And what's the stage?
Everywhere.
You don't say.
But when it all comes down to it, in pivotal moments of history, everywhere is, well, sometimes everywhere is just one point. Sometimes everybody who's anybody is all looking at just one or two people, and those people are everybody for just a bit. You digging yet?
I think
You think too much?
I can name one. I can name something that happened pretty recently that might attract a lot of attention.
Now you're getting it. You see, things have been getting real antsy around that little dirt heap you are all rucking around in. You want any, by the way?
I'm good. I'm more of a drinker than a smoker.
I'm more of a gambler.
You don't say.
Mm-hmm. Like you.
I do dabble.
Oh, you do more than dabble. You indulge, friend.
Is that right?
Think about it. All that time you spent running in and out of alleyways, stealing and robbing from every noble you could get your hands on. All the wealth you and your family accrued.
Oh, believe me, that wasn't gambling. Our success was assured.
The best kind of gambles are the ones you know you'll win, right?
Welcome to my world.
Correction. Welcome to mine. You see, I've been playing a game. Correction, I've been winning. I've been winning a game for a very long time. Much longer than you've been alive. A lot longer than you've
That
been
is
dead,
a very
actually.
long time.
But, the game I play isn't just, bets and wins and losses. It's moments. It's coin flips. It's places in history. A war breaks out, a hero arises, a demagogue comes to power, and I say, oh, I know exactly how this one's going to play out. And then I place my bets. Who do you think I bet against?
I know who your dogs are, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what kind of gambler are you exactly is the question.
The kind you are. The kind that only plays when he knows he'll win. And so we come to the crux of our story. You see. You sure you don't want any? Stuff's really good.
Sure, why not? Not like I'll get many chances to.
Hand you the cigar. You take an inhale. You almost kind of are sort of inclined as it fills your lungs, kind of close your eyes for a bit and really let the flavor fill you. It's whatever flavor you want it to be. What flavor is it?
Raspberry.
A nice sort of fruity citrus and raspberry scent, our taste fills your lungs and throat. And as your eyes close, you exhale, and you're not in that room you were in anymore. You're at a dinner table. One you've seen exactly once before, or maybe a few times in just moments. There's a animal, a beast of some kind, being roasted over a fire. It smells so delicious. And a woman sits across from you. She looks tired, maybe a bit irritated, but above all else, she holds affection in her eyes. Gorman, you can't go out again. I'm afraid you won't come back again this time. I fear that every time you go out that door.
Am I supposed to say anything, or is this a memory that I'm seeing?
Oh, you're good. Just wanted to make sure you got the context before I explained everything. You see,
I figured that.
I've been playing the odds in my favor. I gather up a champion here or there, and I make sure the fates kind of are plucked in the right way, that they give me what I want. It's not the way you think about this, though. It's not like throughout history I've picked a lifetime or two. It's different than that. I don't see time the way you see it. You blink again, and you're somewhere else. You're actually just about right back in that tavern. It takes a minute to reform, but you slowly get reaccustomed to it. The man's in front of you, and the smoke is still filling the air. Good stuff, right?
Quite a trip.
Now come on, puff and pass. He takes it back. So, gods see time in circles. It's all just one big cycle. It's all happened a couple 100,000 million, who knows how many times at this point. But we make it different every time just to, keep the spice fun.
I suppose gods can get bored sometimes.
Oh, all the time.
Is that why we're here?
It's why you're here. Your friends. Oh, they've been here. That's the thing, is that, well, you see, time is cyclical. So Zanari and Wolf and Ploy and Mitz, they've all walked their path a couple, well, again, however many times. But you, oh, there's only one you.
Damn right.
Okay, I'm not telling the whole truth. There's only one you, but there's also only one Gorman Freeman. There's also only one Matali Vanin. There's also only one Aiton Velman. There's also only one... I keep remaking you whenever I get bored. Your friends have been on this journey a couple, well, millions of times. But they meet a different version of you every time. He takes a moment to light his cigar. He leans forward, blows out directly at your face. It doesn't make you cough or anything, but it's directly at you.
Still smells like raspberries.
Mm-hmm. And then you went and fucked it.
Hey man, I'm just living my life. What exactly did I do
Died.
that's got you all bothered?
Just not the way I thought you would. That armor of yours. Really a entry-level curse. I'm amazed you fell for it. But...
You don't gotta be mean.
Oh, on the contrary. If you recognized all the things I went through to make sure you ended up in just the right spot to play the odds in just the way I needed, just for you to not see a basic level necromancy spell coming. But, I did what I could. I figured if one of you wasn't going to get the job done, why not let all of you do it?
I see.
But I'm gonna skip the preamble, like I said, Mako. I don't have a lot of time, as it turns out.
And what have we been doing this whole time?
Oh, I was just making sure you were comfortable and everything. This next part gets a little weird, so I figured you'd want to be settled and everything and all the context before I drop the bombshell, as it were. You see, the stakes have been raised. Gods are
I can only
dying.
imagine by what.
Well, God's dying if I hadn't gotten to it already.
Yeah, I saw one of those.
Oh, correction. You've seen 2 of those.
What do you mean?
You don't know what your friends are yet?
God Killer, Caretaker. Oh, wait, no. Storyteller, Huntmaster, and
Order Keeper. Not what I was talking
Order
about.
Keeper.
Those 2 you mentioned, the Order Keeper and the Storyteller, they're gods now.
Huh. I know some really famous people. Wow.
Yeah, and your famous people went and sacked one of mine in the process. And I needed Amutep. I really needed him.
What are you talking about? They had nothing to do with that.
No, he did. It's not their fault. Blowhardy bastard went and offed himself for the sake of the multiverse or whatever. Sorry, multiverse is a big concept. We won't cover that just now. Any case. Doc. Mako. Sorry, wrong one.
Multiverse. I get it.
Big concept.
It's okay. It happens.
New campaign, who dis?
Yeah, big concept. We're not covering that story yet. In either case. So, I said there's only one you, yes?
You did mention that.
And I meant that. You see, you're a special case. Caretaker's the term that you use in your world because it makes the most sense, but I like a different term. You're a
Well, don't keep me in suspense.
You're a singularity.
I don't know if you noticed, but I'm pretty sure there's more than one of a person in here. So what do you mean by singular?
That's just it. There aren't any more. Gorman's memories, Valim's, Ventus's, the rest of them, they didn't happen anymore. Every single one of them.
What do you mean they didn't happen?
I mean, every single one of them was you.
What are you talking about?
I'm changing the game. Again. It's going to make sense to you soon, I promise. Just know you're going to find that there's suddenly a lot of space in that head of yours. It's going to get filled up real fast, though.
With what?
Oh, that's the fun thing. But that's not the bombshell, boss. Because you see, while I've changed the game, I'm also kind of bored of knowing how it plays out. So here's what I'm going to do.
Like
and you're going to want to pay close attention to this. He lowers his hand to the table. And there's a tray there. It's almost like it was always there. You're not certain. On it is a coin. It's a medallion. It's not really a recognizable thing. You've never seen it before. Looks brand new, though. It's a simple choice on paper. But the implications, oh, how they sprawl. You, my friend, are going to set the stakes now. You have a simple choice. He puts his hand over the coin, flips it. On this side, you get out now. I send you back into Zor'aa with every bit of information I have just given you. You are allowed to see the game in its entirety and thus play it out to the end however you want. The consequence that comes here is that by you doing that, you get my job in the end. Or he flips the coin over. There's a head on it. The face looks like his, and it's smiling. Or you think you can beat me. You play the game out, and I make the moves that I still have planned. You've already fucked me once. Who's to say you can't do it again, right? The consequence here is that I'll tell you something. He leans in close again. Real close. In fact, he gets up out of his chair, comes around to where you are, and squats down directly next to you. If I win, all your friends die. There's a third option, though. And you should know this. He reaches into his sort of coat and pulls out... Well, it's weird, Mako. You wouldn't recognize this at all. It's a device of some kind. It's angled and curved. Has a cylindrical sort of setup in the middle and definitely appears mechanical in motion. There's a trigger at the bottom, and you recognize the mechanism as similar to the firearms you've seen in Zor'aa, but it's... looks far too new for that. For context, it's a revolver. He places it down on the table. Says, if you don't want to know the game, and you don't want to play it, you remove yourself from the equation. Permanently. Doing this does several things. One, it deprives me of not just my current champion, but all of my champions, and thus a good deal of my power. As such, it ensures that no matter what happens, your friends, all four of them, make it out of this. So to reiterate, your options are take my spot, try to beat me, or kill yourself, I'll be honest. Before you choose, someone needs to be here to make the to see this. They have to know I'm playing fair. A door.
Something tells me with you, even if there is a witness, you'd find a way around it.
That's the thing. I haven't found a way to beat this guy just yet. He whispers. And then a door from behind you opens. You don't see, because you're not looking obviously that way, who or what enters, but you do hear the door close. You do kind of feel in the back of your head like you can't exactly turn around and look at it, though. I wouldn't try. He's, it's complicated. I don't think I want to go through it right now. Listen, the point is, I need you to make the call. And he has to be here to know that I'm not pulling the strings. So my hands are here. You see it, yes. I'm not making him make this call. It's all him.
One thing you've never told me, what is the nature of this game that we're playing?
Oh, I like that question. You see, the boss, my boss, you don't need to know about him, don't worry. He's kind of pissed, I'm not gonna lie. It's a level above what I need to tell you to make this work, I'll be honest, but the way I keep him from ending this is I make it interesting. It's kind of why he put me here, I guess. So the game is, well, it's like chess. There are two forces, two sides, constantly maneuvering pieces and trying to outdo each other. One seeking, I guess you'd call it stability, order, maybe. Another seeking, well, the other thing. And then there's me, who cuts the lights out every now and then and fucks with the pieces just because it's funny.
Can't say I don't respect that.
I knew you would. I made you that way.
So if you're not involved in the conflict, how do you win?
It's, there's two ways I can explain this. There's the simple way, which keeps this right here. And there's the bigger way, which has me explain some things that need to peel the curtain back a bit. Your choice.
Well, we're in the green room already. Let's take a look behind the curtain.
God, I like you. So, each of us is a fragment of the boss to a degree. All of this really is. Me, I'm his, I guess I'm his bad side, if you could say that. He hasn't let me out too often. I don't get to play very often, but when I do, oh, when I do. So me winning goes above your pay grade, like I said, but if I win, I take control. And not just this story we're telling right here, but every story the boss tells from here. Oh, they get wild. But like I said, that's above your pay grade, so don't worry about that, Dan.
Who's Dan?
Sorry.
Multiverses?
Something like that.
He goes by many names.
Yeah. There are some who call me Tim.
Pulling you back in, because I got to get you back to where you got to be, because there's a lot happening, and I don't have a lot of time. Like I said, he's getting impatient. Need you to pick. Play the game, step out of it, or come out of it all the way. Again, by that I mean kill yourself.
Well, I think I told you this already. But for me, it's not a gamble, it's a certainty. And after all, who wouldn't want to be known as the person who beat a god twice?
Well, can't say I didn't see this one coming. All right then, Mako. We're just about done here.
I guess we are. And with that, Mako takes this last swig of his whiskey.
There's one other thing you could do for me if you wouldn't mind. It's not required, but I'd appreciate the favor. The girl, the one who's given you so much trouble.
You're gonna have to be more specific.
That's the thing, is that I kind of can't. Not while he's right there. We all pick champions, right? Listen, she's on a tear. If I'm gonna be honest, she's really fucking you guys up right now. I can't get any more specific than that. But, there's one of you can let her have, and that'll kind of get you guys set up a little bit better in the long run. I'm not saying you have to. And again, I really can't get any more specific than this, but I'm sorry. But just keep that in mind when the moment seems opportune, and the choice you make is really yours. But Well, you're trying to beat me, so just keep the stakes in mind, yeah?
I don't care what the stakes are, that's not going to happen.
Hey, you said it. Like I said, I've seen the story play out a couple 100 million times. It's not a big deal for me. Anyway.
You've never seen someone like me.
You're certainly right about that. Nonetheless, I'll be, keeping more than eyes on you. Be certain of that.
I look forward to it.
Good. Door's behind you whenever you're ready. He's gone by now. He tends to not stick around whenever he's not needed. You'll be seeing him again soon, don't worry. But, hope he's a bit more patient with you than he is with the rest of us.
Thanks for the drink.
You'll need it. Good luck out there.
Who needs luck?
Alright, I'm getting out of here. So, if one of you wants to, I don't know, figure out the rest of this nonsense, I'm, gonna be, well, busy. You...
Mako's already, like, heading towards the door at this point.
Oh yeah, you hear that faintly behind you as you are walking towards the door, and the tavern all begins to kind of settle away, and you find yourself back in the Storm Children base. More specifically, in what counts as their infirmary. You're sprawled out on one of the large cots. It's mostly clean. And I'm going to assume that at least one of your friends is currently staring at you. How many of them and or where the rest of them
Roll
are...
a d4 to decide which one.
Yeah. How many of them and or where the rest of them are is up to you. So let's go one at a time and let's find out where people are. We'll go backwards this time and we'll start with Wolf. Where are you right now?
How long has he been out?
It's been 3
In
days.
our side? Oh, well, then unless it is, like, morning or night, I don't think Wolf is necessarily there. But if it's right when people wake up or right when Wolf goes to sleep, he actually probably is just, like, sleeping in here.
Fair enough.
Like, on the floor, the way he kind of does, of just, like, next to wherever this cot is.
Oh, that's very cute. So Wolf is sleeping next to Mako right now, and you would probably notice him slightly begin to stir just a little bit. It's hard to tell because he's a literal suit of armor, but it's clanky a little bit. So you're like, huh, what? And before we let you interact,
The creaking of leather.
before you interact just yet, we'll go ahead and pass next to Z. Where are you right now?
Okay, I was actually thinking pretty similarly. Mostly, yeah, just like spending nights there, or maybe taking shifts depending on how much room was in the infirmary. But yeah, probably not going to be there during the day. Probably trying to figure out, like, hey, what the fuck is going on? We saw, a fucking god die. Like, oh no. Like, that's the
that never
day
has to
thing, the
sleep.
night thing, when you finally sleep. Yeah, gonna be in the infirmary.
Oh,
And our one friend that doesn't need to sleep is suddenly unconscious for 3 days. I feel
Yeah,
like
exactly. It's like,
motivation of like, okay, I don't know how this works, but I should probably have someone around in case someone tries to do something about that. Like,
we'll say it's decently late in the day, probably late enough that you've left because you've probably spent a good bit of time in the library and the command room with Temin trying to figure out what the hell is going on. But we'll say it's late enough in the day that you both decided to call it a night, and so you went back to the infirmary to get some rest. It's probably like just as you're coming in that you're like, wait, did he move? Hold on. And we'll come next to Ploy. Where are you right now, bud?
So after probably like a day of just running around panicking, Joe's just been like working on his javelin skills and like trying to get better at, using the necklace and feeling that connection.
Fair enough. And where do you think you go to sort of get yourself close to this this feeling, you would say?
I'd probably just set up a couple of targets out in the desert,
Fair enough.
out in
So
the sands.
we'll say it's late in the day, but you're still out in the clearing, working on honing your precision with these new blades. It's an awkward dance for you for now, but you're slowly beginning to understand the motions of it. As you begin to learn how to whip your hands and your thoughts. As you learn, it's both a mental and physical dance. You have to sort of work your mind through the right steps and thoughts and motions and keep the right focus and clarity. It's a lot like hunting. You have to remove all distraction and focus solely on the task. So it's a familiar sort of trance for you, although the motions are much different than anything you're used to. And that's where you are right now. And I believe that leaves us only to check in with Mitz. What you doing, bud?
Well, besides the, oh right, gods can die, but Mitz has kind of internalized that a little bit, probably a little bit more than maybe most others, since Mitz used to be Amutep, I guess. That's a little confusing. Mitz is actually, Z, did you ever share Shayra's problem with the group, or?
Not like immediately, or at least that did not happen last session. Perhaps over the next 3 days, like we could figure that out later. But yeah, perhaps over the 3-day period, she could have shared something.
I will say,
So-
I'll say that I'll give you all. Honestly, we'll say that just to make sure that happens. Is that something you feel like you would share with the larger group, Zanari, or specifically just with Mitz?
Probably just with Mitz.
In which case, then, if that's cool with you all, let's.
But Wolf will freak out and can't do anything about it. Neither can Ploy. So.
So, in which case, if it's comfortable with you all, stepping out of character for a moment here, let's wrap this scene here with Mako recovering, and then we'll do a quick flashback cut to what happens with Mitz and Zanari, and that should just about take us to break. Yes. All right, and we'll make room for anything you have to put in between if we need to. All right. So, in which case, with assuming that Zanari has not yet shared the knowledge of what's going on with Shayada, where are you, Mitz?
Mitz.
Or actually, sorry. Let me correct that. Sorry, my fault. Assuming she has, because we're gonna have a flashback scene when that happens. Assuming she has shared that knowledge at some point, where are you right now?
Okay. Well, Mitz has probably been staying up late practically every day now, for the past 3 days. So when Mitz is not there in the room with Mako, Nga is there, kind of like just doing their own scans, making sure that things are okay. But Mitz themselves, well, herself, today is delving into every kind of spell that they know and feeling out sort of like their own divine energy to see if they can. Is there also that like really absolutely, and this is very uncomfortable for Mitz, but like that deep necromantic power that they remember from the blood gems, to see if there's any sort of way that they can change it, to use it to harvest maybe the divine energy of a dying beast, whether it's a god beast or another god, and give it, like, spread it out and distribute it back to Shayera. And this is like deeply uncomfortable because Mitz distinctly remembers hating that feeling.
So, Mitz, Nakali literally effectively had one of the Earth mages accompanying the Storm Children literally hollow out a new small cavern in the base for you to use as a private study to work with the blood gem away from everyone else. And you've spent the past few days effectively just bearing raw your new divinity to try and influence and work with the tainted and sickly spell matrix that contorts and works with the magic of this gem. And it's so funny that the scene is happening at this right time, because it's at the same moment Mako awakens that you start to see the ruby red of this gem begin to peel away and reveal just like a bright yellow, almost golden color. It's not all the way there yet, but it's rapidly moving. And you wouldn't know this, nor would the rest of you, but as the two of you who are in the room with Mako are watching him slowly begin to stir back to consciousness, the rate of this, change is accelerating. And Mitz, I don't know if you'd want to at this point run back to your friends to tell them what the fuck is happening, or if you're still there trying to see what's going on, but I think right now let's check in with Mako right now. As you are returning to consciousness, you are sprawled out on the cot. The infirmary isn't empty. There's some other people on some other cots, and there's a few medics and people who are, healers working with who they can and giving last rites to who they can't. Zenari and Wolf are both there. I'm going to assume for the sake of brevity they're both also either awake or stirring. Zenari's, like I said, just walking in. But at this point, yeah, you're fully stirred. The scene is yours, my loves.
Yeah, Zia's walking in, and I don't know if she's holding something. Maybe she's holding a book or something. And seeing that, she just drops it. Like, just drops it in the doorway, and it's like, did he just move? Wolf, I think he just moved.
what-
Holy shit.
Yeah, when the book drops, it would definitely, like, Wolf is fully, like, his weird dog-like curled up sleep, like he's about to sleep, and just instantly on his feet, almost like all fours-ish, looks at Z, and then did he just move? Just look at him. Like, is Mako moving?
Yeah.
Oh, Mako?
Mako from the bed says, "No, I'm not moving."
Wolf runs over and just, like, scoops him up, big bear hug, and he's like, aha! He's better!
Wolf,
Yeah, Zia's probably gonna call out, like, just the door of the infirmary. Like, he's awake now. It's finally awake. Holy shit.
Z, where are we?
You're in the infirmary. We're at the Storm Children base. You just collapsed 3 days ago, and we don't.
3 days.
3 days. We're
It was much
fucking
longer than you
worried
normally
sick.
don't move.
We
Sorry
don't know
about
what
that.
happened. Do you know what happened?
Well, funny enough, I'm sure you can relate to this. God wanted to have a word with me.
Yep. I haven't had a conversation that long. So, what? Are you comfortable talking about it? Are you okay?
Sure. Although, I don't know. My god seemed like a bigger dick than your gods.
Well,
So you're not married, is
You're not.
the takeaway from that.
No, I'm not. Thank God
Okay.
I filed for a divorce immediately. Where's Mitz? I found out something she might want to know too.
I imagine if
She
not
might
is
still be in
there,
the
that
study.
he knows pretty quickly, right? Like, I could just
Yeah.
telepathically tell her, right?
At this point, Mitz is kind of like walked in hurriedly with this bright orange gem, and it's like, I've made a new discovery. Well, it's not a great. Also, wait, Mako, you're awake?
Hi.
His
Sorry
small
to
book
disappoint you.
voice saying,
You're
like, I've been
awake.
trying to tell you.
I might have had a little bit too much coffee, and Mitz just kind of like just goes and gives Mako a one-armed hug while also very much holding like this orange gem very far away from it. It's like, you should not be touching this gem. But also, you're awake.
I'm awake. And I learned a few things.
Starting's good.
Chiefly that gods are jerks. All of this is just some game to them.
I can't actually dispute
And-
that, actually.
And even more than that, we're the pieces.
That
Yeah,
makes
sounds
sense.
about right.
Sorry, I just like the image of Ploy did not announce himself. He's just suddenly there.
Yeah.
Wait, let's talk about that. Yeah, Ploy just kind of like walked in at some point in the middle of that. He's just like, that makes sense. And now he's just there. Yeah, Ploy's there.
Wolf would just a little bit of a double take, like, wow, you've gotten better at that sneaky thing. I'm
You know,
impressed.
it seems like you guys are all focusing over there, so I just casually stepped in.
And I had a little sit down with, I guess, the game master.
Mm.
The one who put it all together and threw us into this cursed fate. Oh, speaking of fates, how much did your gods tell you about what's going to happen to you?
Well, I haven't met mine yet, so there's that.
Well, I said Z and Mitz.
Oh. Ploy and Wolf in the background. Ploy's like, I haven't met mine. Wolf's like, I don't have one. That's not really a thing my people do. Anyways.
Oh, no. Well, Amutep, previous me. I don't like him. You know,
sympathize.
gods all liked playing games. They all liked changing the fates whenever they fucking wanted. And he decided that throwing a giant wrench into the problem was a great idea.
Well, my god told me a little bit about the two of your fates. Would you like to know?
How they've seen the same thing hundreds of thousands of times.
That did come up, but things seem like they're going to end a little bit differently for you two.
So,
You two are fated to become gods yourselves.
I feel like we knew that, though, didn't we?
Isn't that
Well, we knew they had some divine stuff in them. That doesn't necessarily mean the same thing, right? Or do we need to like start building temples to you two? I was maybe under the wrong
oh,
impression.
don't do that. Please don't
please,
do that.
please don't actually.
That'd be
And you can
strange.
Well, now I
decide what
feel
the
like we have to.
architecture is.
Look at it this way.
Tempting.
In a
Don't
couple
tempt me with a good
in a
time.
couple of thousands of years, there'll be more ruins explorers around because they'll be exploring your temples. Don't you like that idea?
Oh, that's a very good idea.
Ah,
Maybe wait until like
How could you make
mortal
this
lifespan
logical
ends.
sense at me?
the
But-
cycle of archaeologists continues.
Anyway,
There's another
yeah.
thing.
Oh,
Kali?
other thing, more important. Sorry.
Kali,
Yeah.
she's part of this game too. She's one of the gods' champions.
do we know which? Can we?
No, he wouldn't say.
Mhm.
That's fun.
That's great, I guess.
Very convincing.
Does that even like? Does that change anything? I hate to
I mean,
just
not in
kind of like,
particular.
because I realize that's pretty important, but also, I feel like we had to stop her anyway. You know?
Well,
It just makes
I assume
things
you mean
worse.
Well,
a
this
more
gives us
important
more
part.
incentive.
Yeah, because like
Yes.
technically everything is part of a god's
Because
plan,
now
right?
we get to stop her and screw with the god's plan.
Well, yeah, that does make it nicer.
Yeah, that's Yes, actually, my actually let's call him my big brother. Already fucked us over once, and then we fucked over his plans. I think. Kind
Hopefully.
of. Why not continue with this trend? Which brings me to, I guess,
I don't know. The more I see of the gods, the more I'm kind of liking the vibe of the guy who keeps wanting to screw with them.
That's fair, I guess.
I mean, I guess like big sis aside, and Mitz is pointing over to Z's Z's ring.
Yeah.
Let's be
Big sis
fair.
aside.
Really, the
Fair.
god of death in the afterlife is a lot more fair than other gods, is my sort of outside looking in perspective here.
It's kind of like, I mean, that's kind of fair. I'm pretty sure like 90% of the gods just kind of like tossing around mortals whenever the fuck they wanted. So
Yeah, we should do something about that.
Ah, yeah, let's just go kill God. That seems like a easy thing to do. We have a little more
What's
pressing
your
issues.
nickname
We should
again?
probably go after Cully. I know.
Why not both?
yeah, about that. And Mitz is going to pull out the orange gem that has been floating above their hand because they don't want to touch it.
Oh, is that... What's that?
Yeah, remember that tainted blood gem that we had? Yeah, it kind of just turned into this now. Just now. Actually,
What
Pretty. I
is
assume we don't want to
this?
touch it.
I'll touch it.
no, please,
Please do not.
Please don't touch
don't,
it.
well, don't actually touch it. Remember what happened? Statue. Let's.
He doesn't. That's the bit. Sorry.
Oh, right. Well,
Or you could let me make it into a javelin, and then we can find out what it does to somebody else.
here's the bit. This gem, as far as I can tell, can store the essence of divinity. Just, at the cost of a mortal soul.
I think
Oh,
that's
he has
even
a
more of a
soul.
reason why we turn it into a javelin. No, because then we throw it at, like, somebody with divinity, and it sucks the divinity out of them.
Actually, now that I
I
think
know
about it.
Cully killed a god, but if she absorbed some of that god, Chloe might have a point here. Spear also means that he or I could wield it, or Mako, without touching it. I hate to feed too much into Ploy's normal obsession with, but like Spear might be a good idea. If concussive application is I learned that word today. Concussive application is the best way to go about this.
So,
You
by the
taught him
way,
that.
what's happening
Mhm.
with the god that Kali killed? I can't imagine you can just kill a god and things carry on like normal.
You're all cut off by the sound of a woman screaming from about a few cots over.
Oh, that's...
How common is that in? This is a infirmary, so like.
Oh, it's pretty common. It's Nikali. She's been doing it for the past couple days.
Well, that's not great.
Consequences.
Right.
Yeah, that. I mean, godly essence and divinity, as far as I know,
Yeah.
as is that it has to reincarnate somehow. And I mean, that's kind of what happened to, I guess, C and I and Ami with Hamutep.
So...
And is that process often a painful one?
Just a little
I mean, yeah, it wasn't comfortable. I can tell you that much.
The screaming
Uh,
stops.
As far as I know, if it hadn't been, if it weren't for like there being 3 of us, yeah, that would have.
So, what would happen if we touched Nakali with the gem?
Just lessen the burden same way as you 3.
Would it help?
We also don't know if that's what's causing this to her, though, to be honest.
I mean, I don't. I
You
don't know.
Totally fair.
Let's try, because I don't like seeing our friends suffer.
Let's let the wizard
Do it.
figure it out first, in case it will also maybe absorb her completely. Because I'd also like her to recover.
Right, but how long can the Kali stand this? It's been 3 days.
If any of you look over, you'll notice that the cot that has Nikali on it has about 2 or 3 attendants or healers at it. One is, giving her water, another is checking her temperature, a third is kind of just like checking over her. Zanari, while you were moving around not too long ago, one night you caught a look over at her. She just looks haggard, drained, like the life is literally just leaving her bit by bit.
I think I agree with Boy here. She looks so tired, and anything the healers and the attendants have tried, even things that I've tried over the past couple days, haven't worked. I don't know what other solutions there might be. Yeah, we should definitely trust Mitz to do this, but running out of time and options.
I mean, we have to do something. Like, Joshua left because his father died. Imagine how he would feel if he came back just to learn that we just couldn't do anything. None of us could. Like, we have to try something.
Okay. This is going to be probably a terrible idea.
It's the only one we have.
Really,
Okay,
not really making me feel better about this.
not your backup. Z, you, do you have any spells for, I don't know, supporting things? I'm gonna try something. Ploy, get Lady Temid. You're the fast one.
Okay.
Or Mako. But
I'll go
Mako, you
grab.
just got up,
Recovering.
so we're gonna
Yeah, I'll go do that.
Yeah, Ploy, you dash down the hallway. Temin's in the command chamber. She tends to just kind of like find a good, comfortable spot to get in and tuck into a bed around there. So she's over there. She seems a bit annoyed by the wake up call, but you kind of like, I don't know, how do you approach her?
Lady Temin, I don't know if there's much time left. We have an idea that might help Nikali. We need your help to tell us if it's a good idea, and if not, what should we do instead?
She looks up at you a little tired, and then kind of just sits up a bit. Whatever this idea is, I'm sure you're not going to be the one that explains it to me. She waves a hand, and her chair starts kind of moving itself down the way towards her. Come then, I'll explain when you get me there.
I'm gonna just like, as I follow her, I'm like, yeah, something about the gem, it can absorb divine power or something like that, and then maybe it can lessen the burden. Yeah. That's all I got, really.
She looks back at you for a moment, and then just kind of shakes her head and keeps wheeling herself forward, and eventually joins you. The two of them rejoin the rest of you. I assume, have you all made your way over to Nikali's cot at this point?
Yep.
The attendants are still there. They're still looking at her, but yeah, she just looks like she's losing her vitality. That firm musculature, that dancer's build of hers just looks to be withering and atrophying. Her cheeks look sullen and sunken. Her eyes hollow and heavy bags are under them. She's not been conscious in several days, but looks like she hasn't slept at all. She hasn't moved. She doesn't seem to move, except for some very slow, very shallow breathing. And every now and then she breaks out screaming for a few moments. Temin and Ploy rejoin you all as you all are gathering around her. The scene is yours.
Okay, so the normal cost of this gem, which can absorb divine power, is a mortal soul. And, well, I'm not quite mortal anymore. I don't know if this is gonna work. I think this is probably terrible, terrible idea. But we're thinking about maybe if we can. I don't know if we touch this gem to Nikali, maybe that'll help. If not, well, sure I could find someone who knows how to reincarnate.
Can I see that gem, please? Temin says to you, Mitz.
Mitz floats it over to.
She'll float it in between the two of her hands. And you say this will store divine power at the cost of a soul. I know nothing about this. This gem, it's gone above its normal purpose. She waves her hand over it, and Mitz, you all see lines and circles and intricate runes. Mitz, you know this as its spell matrix begin to form all around it. The lines and runes indicate that it would do as you say, but I can say that I know nothing of what this thing does. It is beyond me.
Really quick, DM, do we know that the thing that Valen is suffering from is absorbing divine power and not something else? Like, what do we know of her condition?
Well, nothing is the fun thing. Sorry to bum you out like that.
Well, yeah, that's the question then that I think Wolf would ask. Like, well, do we know that the divine power in her is the problem? This could be any number of crazy magic things I don't understand, right?
Could be her ascending to godhood.
Well,
It could be some kind of weird psychic attack.
from what I understand, it's withdrawal. Nikali was a devoted soul. Kaltora looked upon her so favorably. His light was suffused within her. With all that gone, it's as if a core part of her strength is being forcibly ripped from her. Gods are known to revivify themselves centuries after their deaths, but this is wrong. Kaltora is dead. Gone forever, perhaps. Or he'll soon be. And Nikali is feeling the aftershock. I don't know if this will kill her, but it certainly does not appear to be easy on her. I don't know if that gem will remove Kaltora's power and thus soothe her of the pain. I don't know what it will do, but it does not seem like any of us have any better options. The choice is one I will have to leave with you, I'm afraid. Nikali screams again at this point for a good 7 to 8 seconds. It's raspy, like her throat's getting tired of doing this at this point.
Well, I guess if it isn't about demonic energy being forced into her, then all this is going to do is nothing, right? So there won't be anything for it to pull out.
Since it's missing.
Temin waves her hand and says, on the contrary, there was far too much of Kaltora's power to simply remove from Nikali immediately. It is draining from her, rapidly so, but it is not all gone. I believe it is this draining that is tearing at her so. That is why I do not know if this gem will soothe or do nothing.
How much does...
Do any of you part gods have any control of your divine powers yet? Or are you guys still in the process of, like, acclimating?
Yeah, what if we tried to sort of
'Cause we-
put you in between
I
her
would
and her god a little
assume,
bit?
like, I know nothing about gods. I'm just a regular guy. But I would assume that you can't combine divine powers from different gods. So if we suck the divine power out and replace it with some of yours, maybe that'll help. I mean, we gotta do something. We gotta do something fast.
We could try a forced ascension, but I wouldn't want to force that choice on anyone else.
I mean, not ascension, just make her a paladin of you.
Yeah. If you can,
Do
do
that.
that. Any of you godly enough yet?
I don't know how to answer that question. I'm thinking of what
But there
a spirit session
is-
might be able to do.
one person who might be godly enough, though. Is there? Okay. Mitz is sort of is going to flipping through their book. They're trying to figure out, like, okay, so shoot, can I modify this spell just a little bit? Okay, maybe not make this permanent. Can I have a volunteer, or maybe this might work. Z, and Mitz is gonna pull Z over and is going to show her the spell. It's a curse, actually. Modified curse.
Okay.
But essentially it will
Already interested.
essentially it will
So am I,
turn
what the fuck?
somebody into a living statue. A living statue. And they're still alive. They can't feel pain, right? And essentially it would allow someone to communicate with specifically Ami, so long as they're touching this living statue. But I don't know if can we modify this? Do you think maybe if we can modify the spell to maybe not be a permanent change, but it'll maybe it might give Nikali some time, and allow us to maybe ask Ami for some help.
Maybe. I wish I had the answers. I wish I had the answers. It's a good plan. She wouldn't be able to feel pain, but how reversible is it?
You would need greater restoration to reverse the curse.
Is there anyone capable of doing that here?
Not I.
Temin says she could. Looking at Nikali. I don't know much of curses. Mayhap it's a good fail-safe plan should this gem thing fail.
Plan B it is.
I think so.
Okay.
Maybe one more thing before we go through this. Do you think we have an hour?
What are you thinking?
Maybe just to prepare something as a spirit session. Maybe to prepare something if worse comes to worse and we do have to transfer some type of energy to Nikali, just to have that in the back pocket instead of going into this not able to do anything.
Feel free. Go ahead and prepare.
Okay. If I could get 2 volunteers to do a spirit session with me.
Wolf will be your
volunteer.
Huckleberry.
Yeah.
Yes. Oh my god.
Yeah, so Z,
okay.
feel free to denote how you do this with Ploy and Wolf. Actually, if it's all good for you all, just because I think I need to prepare a few things, do you mind if we take a super quick break here?
Go
Sure.
for it.
So as Zanari prepares her spirit session with Ploy and Wolf, and otherwise Mitz readies the gem and thinks about things and has the curse prepared in the background, while Temin watches on, hoping things work, we will briefly step away and allow our adventurers some time to think, and we shall be back in just a bit. Don't go anywhere. Bye-bye.
Bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now.
And we are back. I welcome you all back to the Seven Sons, our 5e actual play live stream. I will not waste too much time with preamble. As Mako had his encounter with the god Tatim, he chose his gambit in the bet. The party dealt with his awakening and am now attending to their dear friend Nikali, who is suffering from the energy of her god being rapidly drained from her. They have a plan in motion, most of which involves a strange new gem that Mitz managed to forge out of a blood gem that, curiously, only seemed to work the moment Mako broke free from his trance. I'll go ahead and place you all back in where you were. Make sure you're all understanding what's happening. And as I play some music, you're all welcome to do as you please. The scene is yours, my love.
Okay. Well, for that hour that Z wanted to take, with the help of Ploy and Wolf, is going to do a spirit session. So, it takes maybe a little bit different of a form in the infirmary than what everyone's seen previously, where it's more meditative. We just all three sit in a circle, and Z focuses on not only her more newfound divinity, but also the different aspects of spirits that she's encountered, not only throughout the adventures, but what she's had previously. Any type of energy focus that can help. When she conjures that power up, it's not just the three that are sitting in that circle anymore. You see a warrior that's been seen a couple of times in combat. There's a fae that was seen at a carnival for a brief second. All different aspects for just a couple fleeting moments are also sitting in this circle. And all this to say, mechanically, she is going to prepare life transference.
Okay, solid.
And tell you what, she is also going to roll a determined tale to see what thing may I be able to help people with on this, just to have in the back pocket here.
Go ahead and roll me a tail, huh?
All right. Okay, that's a 1. So
One.
that's the beast. Clever animal. 1 minute. The target has advantage on perception checks. Advantage on attack rolls against a creature if another enemy is within 5 feet of it. I don't know if that'll be useful, but I can bestow it at some.
But it's there and you got it.
It's there, I got it. And,
Don't worry, I can summon a beast if you want to attack something with advantage.
We can
Well,
make
no,
it
she
work.
can just pick one of us to have it.
Exactly.
True.
So yeah, we'll see. We'll see if that's relevant. Who knows? But yeah, during the ceremony, on like an amorphous, and more of an amorphous beast kind of crosses across the circle.
Okay.
And yeah, that's all she's going to do until like right before we actually try this plan. In which case, she'll probably give guidance to the Mitts.
All right. Zanari undergoes her ritual. You all notice the creatures from previous tales gather around you, including this new amorphous beast that scuttles across the feature at a time. And the spell Life Transference is now prepared within you to cast. Mitz, I believe there was a thing you wished to do before the plan was enacted as well, yes?
So, Mitz, for probably the first time since this adventure in Zor'aa has started, reaches into her pack and pulls out 3 different intricately carved feathered serpent statues. One's a brilliant turquoise, another one a deep emerald green, and the last one is a bright incarnadine red. She places each of them in front of her and sort of wills herself into connecting with not her own divine energy, but with sort of feeling out that connection with Ami, and casts augury.
Okay. And so, for my understanding, augury allows you to determine whether a certain course of action will give you either a sort of remind me again the choices.
The choices are wheel for good results. So that would be the blue statue, as it were. Woe for bad results, which is our green statue. Wheel and woe for both good and bad, our red one. And nothing, results that aren't especially good or bad.
Okay, got it. All right. So, and you are concentrating on your current plan of action, yes?
Yes, which is will, or more specifically, the whole touching Nikali with stone. Right? Is she going to survive if we continue with our current plan?
As you consider the course of actions, you see the woe one begins, the green one for woe, begins to vibrate just a bit, and then it stops. And then all three vibrate as the color slowly fades from them to a matte, flat black. And Zanari, the ring on your hand is, well, the black is shifting a little bit. Just for a bit. And then it all stops. The statues remain black, though.
By the look on your face, that wasn't the answer you were looking for.
No, that was a non-answer, if anything. In fact, the fact that it started with the green one is concerning. It's almost as if something told fate not today.
Or something knows how to lie to you and pretend to be fate.
That's fair.
There's so much we don't know.
Fortunately, I guess that means that we're where we were before the spell.
True.
Yeah.
Nothing to lose, nothing to gain.
We make our own fate.
Yeah, I mean, that's basically how we've been going so far.
Man, when we first met, who would have thunk, huh?
Yeah,
Good thunk.
but also, can we, like, I hate to hurry you, but I've made one single friend in this godforsaken place, and his fiance is about to fucking die, so can we please do something?
Well,
Uh,
I mean, either way, it seems like either Nikali's gonna die or something happens. So I guess we're doing this, huh?
Yeah.
Guess we're doing this.
I guess we are, Tevin says. Are you ready?
No, but
Oh, you really?
guess we're gonna have. Guess we got to do it anyways.
as a note, I think Wolf has one of his poultices because he just can like make those every day. He's like, well, this is all I got. A little bit of healing.
Better than what we currently have, and it's just going to, I guess.
I mean, I've got a couple potions of healing, if that'll help.
We'll find
But I'm
out.
assuming they've tried that already.
I would certainly hope so.
We'll see, huh? Okay. Mitz gently floats the gem over to Nikali.
The gem hovers over her, begins to glow for a bit. You see Nikali's form slowly begin to, her chest at first, begin to raise up, and then her whole body lift just an inch or two above the ground and hover. Just as the gem begins to glow brighter and brighter and brighter before it consumes the entire room in this bright flash of yellow-white light. And when it fades, as you all rub the light and the haze of blindness from your vision, the gem and the Kali are gone.
That's
Where'd she go?
not what we expected to happen, right? Wolf's gonna do a good sniff just to see if maybe her scent's still around, if he can follow it in some way.
You can still smell her on the cot.
She-
That's about it.
Yeah. Oh, okay. So if Z sees that happening, she would have bestowed the tail on him.
Yeah, no, he's not tracking yet. That's when he'll need it, but he just wants to know, is it possible?
Honestly,
She's just gone.
no, she just is gone. It's as if she was snapped from this reality.
Well, that either worked too well and she's a god now, or is she in the gem? We can't touch it, right? But he's like,
Well, the
but
gem's,
the gem's gone too.
right?
Gem's gone
Yeah.
too.
Well,
Ugh.
can you guys ask Gami if there's a new god around?
Also, can you make another one of these? I hate to be that person, but that could be extremely useful.
Against
Even if all
Kali.
it does is, well, against anyone. But yeah,
Well, trying not to panic here, but that seems a lot like what happened to Z and I and Ami.
That's a better outcome than the worst one.
Hmm.
Well, what do we do now?
Gather information and hope.
Maybe try to find a purified blood gem, continue our... Talk to Joshua, maybe. I don't know. What... See, you're the brain cell, what do we do?
freak. He's going to freak.
Yes,
we
he
tell
is.
him about this.
Yeah. We should
I'll-
find out what happened to Nikali first. Preferably.
If possible, but if need be, I can break the news to him.
Okay,
Zenari and Mitz, you two are feeling a sensation at the back of your minds. It's like a call, and you can't really discern any words from it, but the emotion that pierces through you is, well, it's panic and concern. Someone or something from beyond is calling out to both of you. The feeling is pretty familiar, to be honest.
Ami, is that you?
Yes, it's me. I'm sorry we had to meet like this, but it's good to see you both.
Of course, it's always good to see you. We just wanted to talk to you, actually. Some things happened down here. With the collie. She has disappeared. We don't know what really happened. Have you seen anything?
The priestess is gone?
At least from what we can see. Have you seen her?
No, and I'm sorry, but I have more bad news. I can't find Mama.
Hmm.
I don't know what's happening. And I'm really scared.
Okay, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna figure this out, okay?
Yeah, we're
Just
gonna.
gotta breathe. Let's just take a couple deep breaths and think this through.
Yeah. Just.
Okay, I'll
Next actions and our next minutes are going to mean a lot, so it's gonna be
okay.
okay.
I'll I'll do what I can from here. I'll look around and I'll try and if I see anything, I'll try to talk to you both again. Tell everyone I said hi.
We will.
We're always listening. Just thank you. This isn't anything that you should have to do.
But I'd
What
do
makes you
anything for
great
both
that
of
you
you.
are.
I love you both.
Love you too.
V2.
And you kind of feel that connection briefly sever, almost on time, as Temin sort of jostles one of you, sort of sensing the semi-trance you were all in. I know we all have questions right now, and I hate to pile on bad news, but I think you all need to get moving.
Moving where?
Come
We
with
have
me.
delayed quite a while responding to Kali.
And she has not been idle. Come with me. There is something you all need to see. Right now. And she immediately starts wheeling backwards and moving back towards the command chamber. There's a look in her eyes, almost like she's not really looking at any of you, but like she's lost and like she's looking at something else. And as you, I assume, follow her down the hallway,
This is gonna give Z a quick hug.
Of course, hug back.
as you run down the hallway with her after a lovely little hug, 'cause it's very sweet, you eventually realize that what she was probably looking at is the vision you were all seeing in the middle of her large, massive crystal sphere. It's that same mountaintop where you saw Kali standing a few days ago, where the god and the god beast died. In fact, the crater that was their corpses is still there. Kali's not alone, no. Someone else is standing across from her. Someone who looks a little familiar. In fact, someone you all were talking about not too long ago. Something's different about
There's
him
still
now.
two people that could be.
As you all look and see Joshua standing face to face with Kali, you almost don't recognize him at first because his attire is a bit different. He's not wearing his same turban and golden fine noble's robes. He also doesn't have the same look on his face. You can detect the wind just rustling by the two of them. As she faces him, her pole arm in one hand, coursing with some foul kind of energy. And he stands facing her, a cold, focused look on his face, his sword in his right hand, his left in a palm up position at his chest, and a circle of blades spinning around him at an axis. The two of them are about to fight. It's easy to tell. Temin says, I needn't tell you all what I assume his chances are.
What
Damn
a
fool.
fucking idiot.
Can you teleport us?
Shaw comes in and
Far?
says, we can. The effort would drain the two of us, and we'd probably be out of commission magically for a little bit of time, so our aid to you all would be limited from here. But we can get you there. Alternatively, you could fly, but that's
Who
gonna
would
get
make it in
Make it
time?
Not enough
It'll be
time.
too late.
Definitely.
Then I am happy to
Can you
offer
tell
my
the-
aid.
Can you
Send
tell the
us
first
there.
mate? Can you tell the first mate to send our
Have them
Ploy's
meet
ship?
us. Have the party well meet us there.
I'll send her after as fast as possible.
You ready? I think that's the call. Yes.
Yeah, send us.
Very well then.
Well, just happens to keep all this stuff on him all the time, anyways. So there's not literally that much time. It's
Oh, this
All
is
right.
always so
Let's
damn
go.
tiring.
Pick up the microphone.
Oh, this is always so damn tiring. Very well. Oh,
Yeah. Well,
I apologize.
no, it's fine. I hear we're dealing with enough right now. Please save the idiot if you can. Temin holds both of her hands at an axis. Shaw holds hers at the opposite axis. Magical energy begins to ripple between the two of them. Lines and runic circles beginning to form on the ground in bright blues and purples. And in a moment, in a flash of energy, this circle stabilizes and becomes a bright blue. Well, it's a teleportation circle you've all seen before. Shaw and Temin both look like they're straining very hard just to hold this thing together. This will get you just about right there. In fact, it should get you right there, but please move quickly. This is not comfortable.
All right, let's go. We gotta get there. Again, we lost his fiance. We better save him at least.
Wolf
Let's
is
go.
charging in, like not even this doesn't even entertain conversation. He's already in attack mode.
Go.
He even shifts as he enters, like not the full rage quite yet, but the like a half shift, just to be a little more prepared for what's about to happen.
All right. As you all step through the circle, the magic and its bright light consuming you, you all emerge almost uncomfortably so from, or maybe not so much for Ploy, from the dank, low light of the cave to the blaring heat of the full noon sun of Zor'aa as you are out amongst the sand immediately. You are distracted by the clashing of blades as you are immediately noticing Kali and Joshua already engaging in their duel. Kali spins her polearm about her body in a wild fashion and brings it down in a jab with its lower end. Joshua avoids, dashing to one side, brings his sword up in a cutting arc, which Kali bends backwards to avoid. She spins again, this time coming all the way around. As she brings the polearm up, dark energy trickles and gathers all around her as she roars and slams it down. Joshua catches the middle of it with the middle of his blade, but the effort pushes him down. You can see cracks form in the concrete as he immediately starts to strain against this. He cuts an eye almost imperceptibly over to you all, but doesn't have the time to say anything as he is entirely focused on holding back Kali. She, on the other hand, looks over as this bright flash of energy heralds you all immediately bursting onto the scene. And what was already a loud, bloodthirsty smirk almost somehow impossibly gets brighter. And she just looks like she is absolutely ecstatic. As if this day couldn't get any better. She comes forward, grabs Joshua by the throat, and then hurls him at you, Wolf, as you were running through. He basically just makes full contact with you. You don't barrel over or anything, but you kind of catch him pretty solidly and step back a bit. She spins that polearm, plants it in the ground, and says, "So you've all come to die here then?"
We've come at behest of your father. You need to be put in a corner.
And for the sake of this, I am not even going to bother having you all roll complete initiative. Instead, because this battle is effectively a 6-on-1, we're just going to move between you all one at a time, and Kali will effectively act in between. It's going to be much more theater of the mind than you think. So let's play this out, friends. You ready?
Yeah?
Okay.
Be prepared. It's effectively combat, but don't worry too much about the ranges of everything. Just assume you're in range for whatever you're trying to do.
There won't be combat today, he says.
I never said I couldn't
Yeah,
lie.
and then we just totally ruined his plans. So
I never said I
That's
couldn't
true.
lie.
for
Also,
stream, he basically had to go on a writing rant in the middle of that break. So
all right, we're starting with the new Blade Soul Monk himself, Ploy. Are you ready?
Yeah. Absolutely.
Just fucking play it out. Do it.
Alright, Kali, we're not here to deal with you. I've got bigger problems. and I'm gonna cast Summon Beast at 3rd level.
All right, what are you trying to? What are you? All right. Okay, I gotta do a thing.
Yeah, you do.
Oh boy.
By the way, I get 2 rolls and I can pick which one.
Okay.
So give me a vague description.
So.
Is it the boy? Please tell me it's the boy.
Okay. So you're so. I'm turning these down for a brief moment. Ploy, as you're immediately delving into this new connection you feel with all the beasts of Zor'aa, bidding them come forth as this is a time for a grand fight, 2 distinct feelings respond to you. The first feels confident. It's a brazen predator, but it is also a kind that tends to hunt in packs. And while it's a mighty beast, you know you'll only get one of them. The other's old. It is powerful. It bows to near no one. But it will listen. And it will fight beside you.
I picked the second one.
And just as the moment you say that, you all watch as in front of Ploy, a massive pincer rips itself out of the sand and slams into the front of you all, and then another, and then a huge Zoran devil starts to lift itself directly up under Ploy, and you are now riding atop it as it brays directly at Kali.
We're not here to fuck around.
We're here to find out.
Fucking. That's an action for you, yes?
Yeah.
Is there a bonus you want to take?
No, that's it.
All right. I mean, pretty. I'll say you can Hunter's Mark her for free because that was a really fucking cool situation. I just want to leave that moment because it was fucking dope as shit. Drop my d20. Fuck it. Pick up another one. We're over to Wolf next. Let's fucking go. What are you doing?
Wolf's game plan is extremely simple. He just Josh is a big boy. Sorry, he just grabbed.
Oh no. Oh no! Oh no! Not right now!
No!
Not right now! Oh no! Not in this moment! Wait, let's see. Let's give it 10 seconds. Let's give it 10 seconds. 4, 3, 2.
No!
Tate, no!
No!
Oh god! All right, this is what we'll do. This is what we're gonna do. I don't know. Should we cut away from her, or do we go to some? Do we go to break? I don't know.
Dude.
All right, dice decide.
Here we go.
All right, we're gonna go to break for now, real quick, and then we'll get Tate back, and we'll come right back. All right, loves. Don't go anywhere. We'll come right back. We love you all. Bye bye.
Timing on that.
Oh
Christ.
god. And after technical difficulties, return. Apologies for the delay.
We're back.
Everything's fine, but we're back and we're here. Welcome back to the Seven Sons to re-scene set and get us all right back in. The party has teleported to the mountaintop where Kali has slain a god and god beasts. Joshua intended to take her on one at a time, or one-on-one. However, the party has now intervened. Ploy has summoned a Zor'aa devil to his aid and is now riding atop it as he brays and prepares to let Kali know that they are not here for her shit. And just as we were cutting away, Wolf was about to let us know his brilliant plan.
It's a very simple plan, actually. Wolf has caught Joshua. I think he just kind of like unceremoniously dumps him to the side, and Wolf is gonna give Kali the sauce, as it turns out.
Bring the sauce it up.
Yep. So this is bonus action, rage, and pounce, and then sprint at her. And I got 3 attacks to do, and I think it's gonna be claw, and then I'm gonna try and grapple her and see what I can do with that 3rd attack.
Go for it.
So, I need to make sure I have the.
First one hits.
I'm gonna make this actually a trip attack as well. So I believe she's got to do a strength save.
DC?
My strength is 16. Proficiency is 4. So 17.
She beats it.
Okay. Well, so yeah, the first one is trying to get at her legs. So it just does the 11 damage. And then, Wolf's going to try and grapple her, and if that succeeds, we're going to see what he does with that.
Go for
it. Beat this athletics.
31. That's a crit. Let's see.
20.
She also rolls with advantage. Oof. Nope. Doesn't beat it, though. Close, but not enough.
Yeah, I think Wolf, his first claw is to her legs, reaches up and is just like, one hand is back around and holding the back of her armor, and he's effectively going to try and pivot and then just sort of slam her into the ground in front of the Zoran Devil and then back up.
Go for it.
I don't know what you want me to do for that 3rd attack.
Just
if it's an attack,
roll an
another
attack.
athletics. Yeah. And recklessly, for sure.
All right, yeah, that definitely, yeah. So you just you grab her, you bring a full turn around, and you just plant her into the dirt. A huge puff of dust and sand whips up all around you both. You kind of back away from the cloud first. As it settles, she is like definitely still prone. She slowly begins to get up. It's just like, antsy we are. All right, we'll play that game. And before she acts, we'll go on to. Of the 3 that haven't acted, Mako, you're up.
All right.
She's prone. You have advantage. Do you want to stab her?
I do, in fact, want to stab her. I will go to stab her.
Do it.
With my dagger. Oh, wait, that's advantage, right? Oh.
Oh, doesn't matter. That hits. I mean, you feel critfish. Go ahead.
All right. And then, so that's a 10. And then,
well, we're saying you can roll another d20 in case you get a crit.
Yeah, if you want to crit,
you do have
yeah,
advantage.
yeah. Oh, I can?
Yeah,
oh,
go ahead.
sweet.
Attack again. Yeah, I got
You might get a crit. Never know.
She's prone, so you have advantage.
Always crit
That
fish.
Yeah, 5% chance.
Where's my thing? There's my thing.
No.
Oh.
Tragic.
Happy
Well.
day.
Okay. So 10 damage from the dagger.
Mhm.
And then I can sneak attack. So I'm going to do that.
Do it.
In fact, you can.
Looks like I'm up to 5d6.
5d6 it then. 11 more damage.
Not as much as I would have hoped. And then, I think I can also do this, because that was technically not a bonus action.
Nope.
It was not.
I will spend a key point, because I'm a monk now.
He's a monk now.
And make 2 unarmed strikes.
Hit her.
Oh, I should have made that with advantage.
That's a hit. You lash out in this flurry of relentless like punches and kicks at her as she's like trying to put up a defense at her. but that dagger you slipped into her, like through her armor into her ribs, is sort of debilitating her a bit. She has to like, as she's trying to like bat your blows away, you are like punching and kicking into like her face and chest, and she's busy just like pulling that dagger out and throwing it. But yeah, you start raining blows on her. She's like kind of is like trying to step back. She will, unless there's anything else for you.
No, that was my action and my bonus action.
Then she will finally act, lashing at the person who is currently closest to her, which would be you, Mako.
Great.
Does a 23 hit you?
A 23 does hit me.
All right. So what
Be
she?
extremely impressed if it didn't. Like, really.
All right, then. Lucky fucking you, dude. You take. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. You take 11 damage. As she finally gets a good grip on her polearm and brings the back end around and just smashes it into you. And then whirls it a bit and brings the business end around to try and hit you again. This time, you notice that again, that dark energy wells up. Does an 18 hit you, Mako?
An 18 ties.
Oof, meets it, beats it though.
Damn it.
Yeah.
So she hits as this dark energy begins to flare around her polearm, and she smashes it directly into the middle of your armor. It does, sorry. That's a roll. $18 damage, sorry. 21 damage.
21.
21.
As she slashes through it, only cuts through like a portion of the armor, but you can feel sort of the bonds that are holding you just weaken just a tad. And then there's only 2 of you left to get to, so let's see who we come to, ladies. It's Mitz.
Mitz turns to Z and goes, okay, this is the dumbest shit that I've ever done, but I'm gonna do it anyways. And
I
Mitz
love
is
it.
going to take a flying dive off the Zor'aa Devil.
Oh, good God.
To
Holly.
Kali, and then cast Curse of, well, technically it's Boreas, but I guess it's Ami now.
So I'm gonna need you to roll. I'm sorry to
doesn't
say,
roll-
but it's probably no, because you're diving at her off of the Zor'aa Devil, or are you just running at her and like are you just moving towards her like and then mechanically? Because if you're actually diving at her, then I'm gonna need you to roll like acrobatics or something. But otherwise, if you're just running, if you're just mechanically just like moving towards her, then you know what?
Yeah.
No, let me not fucking fuck with you. Let's go for it.
I mean, to be fair, like Mitz also
Model
is
folk,
just like
you just
like
glide.
That's fair.
glide.
Able to do that.
In that case, do your thing.
All right. Please make a Charisma saving throw against the spell DC save of 17.
Oof. She does not have very good charisma.
This could be.
Not with that electric personality.
No fucking way. No
She nat
fucking
20.
way. God damn it! I'm gonna try this the other way around.
As Mitz comes flying at her, with the hand extended with this flare of necromantic, disgusting energy, it goes to grab at Kali to distill this curse. Kali just catches you by the arm. Quite, little one. I could snap you if I felt like it. And just tosses you to the ground. No damage, you just get tossed to the ground.
Okay, so for a bonus action, Mitz is going to just be like, sure, Kali. Pull out the decanter and just
Sure.
pop off the cork and be like, stream please.
Call back!
We love it.
Yeah,
Decanter is kind of bizarrely useful.
I'm gonna have her roll Constitution to not get knocked away by this stream of water. She is herself, so she's gonna advantage at that. She does not great. I'm gonna say, yeah, she's not ready for you to pull out this decanter and open it up and for this stream of water to pour through. As you see water just barrel her over and spray her back a good 15 feet. As it like settles and like becomes this massive puddle, you see her just sputter a bit, look up, and just glare at you with the most malice you have ever seen her show.
That's not great.
And
Did she come to in town? What the fuck?
and before she acts, I guess we'll pass it to Z.
Hey, what's up? Seeing that shit happen, Lisa's gonna roll up her sleeves, take off one of her gloves and throw it forward, and the process casting Bigby's hand just to deck her, basically. That's the plan.
All right.
So I have to roll a spell attack.
Do it.
Let's see what happens. 25 to hit.
That, as you throw out your glove and it widens into a massive hand that quickly forms into a fist. And as Kali's just like preparing to like run at Mitz in anger, just bonk, the hand just smashes into her and sends her flying a good 15 feet the other way. She tumbles over.
Man.
She's just like,
my damage.
yeah, go ahead and roll damage if you like.
Oh, 17.
Oof. Yeah, so it smashes into her and she goes sailing. She gets up and it's just literally shaking. And you start to see that same sickly purple-black energy start to suffuse all around her. And as she looks up at the rest of you, her eyes are flaring that same purple. I have had enough of all of you.
I think that feeling's pretty mutual.
And you know, I'm actually gonna have them both roll initiative before they act. Oof. Okay. So Kali looks at all of you who have just been disrupting her one-on-one fight, and she looks like she's gonna just like wipe the floor with you all and then move on to killing Josh like she planned on. And as she starts slowly walking towards you, Zanari, and then picking that up into a steady like trot and then a run, you see Joshua roll into a series of front flips directly over all of your heads, land, and whip out with this like nexus of blades. They hive out and spin in this like boomerang dagger and just slash across her once and then twice. She goes spinning and then lands, but then gets up and keeps running, now solely focused on Joshua. And I'm gonna have him roll an attack now. Okay.
Did he do crit?
So for context, I had Joshua roll an attack, and I said if he rolled low enough, Kali would counter an attack. Joshua rolled a 4. Nakali crit. I was not Nakali, Kali, huh?
Of course.
So
I'm not surprised.
Nakali, while the blades are still whirling out around her, Kali gets up and just starts running at Joshua. She takes her polearm with the middle shaft and just pins it towards his chest. He comes out with his blade. As his blade is up, you see her, because she is now suffused with this energy, literally go straight through it. His sword, gifted to him by his father, shatters in front of you all as she pins him to the ground with the length of her polearm, and you see Joshua literally cough out, spittle in a bit of blood as she just forces all the air out of his lungs. Just, you think you're special. You think just because your father died that you have anything close to power. I'll butcher you! And raises her polearm with the end prepared. It is coming down at Joshua. His hive of blades is spinning back towards him to prepare something close to a defense. You all don't think it'll make it in time. The blades, or Kali's blade, descends. And as it comes down, inches from Joshua's throat, which is now fully open, and he looks almost content, like he'll get to join his father soon. The blade descends fully and meets a shield. It's a high tower shield. Its sides etched with skeletal hands clutched on one side and the other. A single pair of eyes glaring out from the middle of it. The figure behind it is armored in plates of black that eat the sunlight as they gaze into it. They are hooded, a wide open silken brim of white and gold over their head. And in the other hand, they hold a bright, gleaming sword, which is flaring in purple flame. They bat backwards Kali's polearm. It sends her sprawling. She flies a good, 15 previously, a good 30, 40 feet now, and implants herself in the side of a rock with direct force, enough to crack it. The force of it sends up a gust of wind that blows back this figure's hood. And you all look as a pair of bright, they're hands, skeletal hands in the shape of twisted wings form behind this figure's back as they raise their head and look at you all. And you see Nakali's face, focused and determined. She speaks in a voice that sounds like twinned with something that also sounds a bit too familiar to, at least one of you. I am Nakali, champion of Shayara, and you will stand down. Kali forcibly removes herself from the rock she is implanted in and looks, for the first time you all have ever seen her, flabbergasted. And just then, over the horizon of the rapidly setting sun, a large figure makes its way over the mountaintops, blaring out a long wail song as Durga joins you. A row of cannons fitted to either side of the structure that makes up her bulk, each of them trained on the mountainside. You only know that because a few of them fire off, but you can only call warning shots. Kali looks between all of you, and then to Nakali, and then to Durga. Do not think you've won this.
I don't care about that, and I jump off the Zor'aa Devil, hug Joshua and Nakali, and do like a little tap dance going, "It worked! It worked! It fucking
She's
worked!"
gone. Maybe wait till
Wolf
the
is more
murder
concentrated
psychopath is
on.
gone.
Yeah, Wolf is focused on her. Not gonna say anything if combat is still on. Like, he is probably still in motion, about ready to pounce if that's the thing that's
Same
about
with
to happen.
Miko, really. Like, I've got my rapier drawn, I'm in a fencing stance and everything.
Kali looks at you all, muscles still tensed, polearm still in her hands, energy still flaring around her. But it slowly settles until it no longer seeps from her as she spits at the ground. Hand! I am done here. She takes a single step back, and in a crackle of lightning, she is gone.
If you'll allow me, I know Mako's probably right behind him, but Wolf was probably trying to pounce on her in that moment, and would be deeply frustrated that she's left. And just like to the sky scream, "That's the second time you've run from me!"
Yikes. Not wrong, though.
It's a little wrong. He is a little self-centered in that, but
I feel like Mitz is actually going to take that moment when she said hand and like immediately go like stretch her senses to see if she can find hand take steel.
He is at the tower.
Need to get rid of that sorcerer.
I say,
Like,
You know, I don't generally regret killing someone when I am being friendly with them, but he's someone that I feel like maybe I should have killed the moment I had the chance.
I think I'm starting to understand that feeling too, Wolf.
Now Wolf is gonna join Ploy, less big and huggy, but just like, I can't believe that worked. Did that work? Like
Well,
not wanting to touch, but
uh, Joshua, who is still wrapped up in the hug with Ploy and Nakali, is incredibly confused. He's just kind of lost. You all kind of sense.
Mm.
How did you all? What? Someone start explaining, please, immediately.
I slap him across the head and go, "While you were off being an idiot, we had to save your fiance."
What?
and you think you have the right to fight her alone, Kali? Like you're the only one she's hurt? Damn fool.
You have other people that care for you now. You can't just go running off at the first sign of whatever the fuck you want to call this.
He looks down. You're right. I'm sorry.
But
All was forgiven already. All right. I get it.
as long as you understand.
She's taken so much from me. And I was tired of doing nothing about it.
Mm.
I understand, but just now you know.
He looks
Anyways,
across.
magic people want to explain the
Yeah.
fiance thing?
He look,
I can't
yeah.
explain that.
He
Sorry.
quickly looks across from the hug and just says, "Yes, maybe. Okay, how about you all set the basics, and then maybe we let the woman speak for herself." Nikali, strangely a bit more quiet than she normally is, looks at you all and says, "You're all welcome to explain the basics. I'll fill in the gaps where I have to."
I
Don't
mean,
look at me.
Like, oh wow.
I'm just like, I mean, Z's the storyteller. If you want me to
Yeah,
start,
like I know the basics of the basics, which is
This is Joshua
Well-
we're talking about. The bar for basics might be a little bit lower than we're used to.
Oh boy.
Higher than me, to be fair, but you know.
I mean, you don't go running off harebrained to go, fight Nikali by yourself. So, or sorry,
Okay.
Nikali by yourself. So
this is fair.
He
So
goes running off harebrained for other reasons.
Yeah.
What?
Gear, thrown balls.
what? Okay.
lunch.
Anyway, so the moment that Kali attacked here was the moment that both Mako and Nikali collapsed. We didn't entirely know what was happening, but they ended up being unconscious for multiple days. Mako actually waking up and telling us his story, his side of everything, but Nikali was still unconscious and not looking okay, so we decided to act. The blood gems that we've had around. One somehow was uncorrupted, I guess. It wasn't the same red, it was this orange like they typically are. And it has the properties of sharing some of the divinity, taking a little bit away to make the burden less, is how we reasoned it. So we tried that, and Polly disappeared, and we kind of panicked. But then this whole thing happened, and we had to run here, figure this out before figuring the rest out. It's like the two things just kind of came together.
And I believe that's where I
Oh,
step
yeah.
in, yes?
Hmm. Yes.
a lot of stuff we didn't know. beyond, well, your...
Well, I'll explain what I can. That plan you all tried, using that gem to sap what little of Kaltora's energy remained in me to ease the burden of my suffering, it should have killed me.
Sorry about that.
Looks directly at Ploy. Like,
But it didn't.
Our bad.
There is nothing to forgive. And it did not kill me. At least, not in the traditional sense, no. For you see, it turns out that forces beyond had some other thoughts. I don't understand all of it just yet. The conversation I had with her was a bit brief. But, as I understand it, my faith in Kaltora was so fervent, so strong that for a brief bit, I sustained him through the end. And so, in the absence of a dying god to maintain my own power, another dying god thought to make me their own. Shayada and I now exist symbiotically. As long as I am on this plane, I am her champion. My act in her name sufficiently fuels her. It is not a permanent solution, but her divinity will last. For now. I feel so very different. Kaltora's light was warm and effervescent. It healed my wounds and nourished my soul. This is... I don't know how to explain it yet. My power is so much different now. Can I even call myself the same person?
Of course you can. You're still you. You still have all your memories, I would assume.
And personally, I like the new look, Joshua says from behind you. She offers a half smile at
you
least.
edgy little motherfucker.
I mean, Z and I are still Z and Mitz after Mitzla raises a hand, the one with the gem on it.
I'm
I think,
gonna start turning chat
like,
off,
very
guys.
seriously.
I swear to God. I'm gonna start fucking.
Right.
I was like, I just been saying you're grinning. I ain't gonna say shit.
I'm gonna start fucking turning chat off. I swear to God, guys.
This is the way I say it in chat.
True. True.
I'm good. I'm good. I'm sorry.
I think Wolf would also, to the affirmative, it's like, yeah, things change. We change, people change. Does not change us. You decide what you are.
I believe I will need time to understand that fully. But for now, I am happy to be amongst my friends again.
Glad to have you back.
The void was very uncomfortable.
I can only imagine.
It didn't sound pleasant,
My
honestly.
deepest sympathies.
Yes. There was another I spoke with while I was away. It wasn't Tatim. I hear he was busy with other things.
Yeah.
I believe I know which god is empowering Kali. He is known as Kolakesh, the all-consuming void. And he is using her. She thinks that she is taking power to step herself above the gods and above the god beasts, but in reality, a god has become tired of all this game. He wishes to end it all. And Kali's machinations will be the thing that allows him. If we wish to save not just Zor'aa, not just this world, she briefly looks up, a bit of amazement in her eyes, but so much more. Then Kali must be stopped.
I mean, yeah, like, yeah. I think that
Wolf
was the
didn't want to
plan.
break a silence with his
Anyway.
personal thing, but if Ploy's doing that, it's like, yeah, no, it's a good thing then, because I definitely really
Yeah,
want to
As
kill
if
this
we-
person.
That
As
is the
if we
plan.
needed another reason.
Indeed.
Throw it on the pile.
Which brings me to what I believe should be our next step. Kali is empowered now. I have been suffused with new godly energies, but she is beyond even me, beyond even you, God Killer. For now. We must
Take that personally.
We must summon Shem and kill him prematurely.
I guess turnabout is fair play,
Yeah.
but also yes, we wish.
Understand two things. One, there is only one way to bring forth the god beast known only as the End upon this world. The ritual site lies buried in the most heavily guarded position in all of Zor'aa. The tower, if
Please.
you all weren't sure.
Ah, for fuck's sake.
Yep.
Ugh,
Oh, goes back to the tower.
it's always
Imagine
the
if
tower.
we had gone there first. Oh, that was an option on the table.
It was an
It's
option
always
on
the
the table.
last place you look, honestly, though. Come
It's
on.
almost like the plot developed because you guys weren't there, huh?
Mm. Well,
Anyway, stepping
hey,
back.
we could also take care of Handtake's steel at the same time. I have a bone to pick with him.
I couldn't agree
Same
more.
thing.
However, the second thing you should all know is that should we fail to kill Shem, it doesn't matter anyway. He will fulfill his purpose, and he will end all life in this world. I struggle to think what will happen should we bring him about this world and not contain or kill him. I struggle more to think what should happen if Kali gets her hands on him.
We better get there fast then.
My sympathies.
Make
are
sure
with
Alrighty,
she's
you.
well.
not there or can't get there. Tim and I are gonna have to talk about anti-teleportation wards, aren't we?
Not as if we can just walk into the tower.
We'll need to prepare.
One does not simply just do that.
Indeed.
Let's not simply just walk into the tower, huh?
We'll have to prepare not just our own personal defenses and whatever, whether we sneak in or raid the facility. We'll have to prepare our forces, our resources, our deployments and everything. But beyond that, if we intend to put down a god beast, we'll need to prepare for a hunt. Thankfully, looks directly at one of you. We have a hunt master on our side.
Mm-hmm.
That's me.
Tell me, Ploy, have you hunted big cats before?
Yeah, it's not fun.
And we're gonna...
It's-
Sorry, go ahead, please.
It's just a pain in the ass.
Yes, we'll prepare for that pain to become cataclysmic in scale.
Alright, well, big cat it is.
And with that, I
You
believe...
have me with you this time. Sorry.
That's fine. I believe with that, if it's okay with everybody else here, we can bring tonight's session to a nice, clean 3-hour close.
Hey.
Oh yeah.
I like it.
3 hours is a good time.
Yup.
Ladies, gents, and all those in between and beyond that binary, I have been young Foxxii, your game maestro for this evening. And this has been the Seven Sons, and these have been my adventurers. Please, in overlay order once again, tell the people who you are, where they can be found, who you play tonight, anything you have upcoming, and anything else you'd like to plug. Dan, take it away.
Hi. I'm Land the Dan. Pretty sure I still have a Twitter, unless something terrible happened in the last 3 hours. It's still Land the Dan, and if you want to see more of me for some reason, I'm going to be right back here tomorrow night, same time actually, 5 p.m., for the... I mean, I don't know that it'll be the epic conclusion, but it will be the conclusion to our
One way
Halloween...
or the other.
To our Halloween horror sci-fi two-shot, The Screaming Stars Incident,
It'll-
because we love alliterations
You
on
know.
this channel.
You know how I get down with my titles. Don't fuck around with me, alright? It'll definitely
I'll-
happen.
Yeah. I'll be playing the smooth-talking, gunslinging, ship-flying outlaw Hal Owens.
He does do a lot of shooting. Usually first.
Yes. He can shoot.
he can, in fact, shoot.
Damn
In
it.
fact, shoot.
Alright, Michelle, go the fuck ahead before this becomes a meme fest.
I mean, okay, anywho. I'm Michelle. I played Mitz, our wizard. Don't find me on social media, but you might find me in Discord.
A
That implies that
scholar
you
has
have
no
one,
time
but
for
they
social
shouldn't.
media.
Yep.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what? I can't argue with any of this. You can also find me right back here tomorrow with Dan and Kit and Tate, playing as Loon Hart, our psychic who has a lot more magic than sense. Actually, it's a little unfortunate.
You have magic. Who needs sense?
Or logic, or
Exactly.
or smarts.
Or
really.
health. Lucian, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Lucian. I played our boy Ploy, who managed to solve
Our
2
boy
problems at
Ploy.
once, instead of causing 3 extra ones.
Good job.
And you can find me at my renamed Twitch channel, Uwushin,
It's in there. It's in there.
It's in
and
there.
nowhere else.
Yep.
Definitely not at Ublisa1 on Twitter.
Definitely not.
No, not there.
Well, Sir Heck, go on ahead.
Hey, everybody, it's me, your Acolyte. You know, you can find me on all the social medias at Sir Heckalot, including our lovely Discord that Nightbot is already linked, and you should definitely join. In terms of where you can see me next, I'm going to be in the one-shot Overt TPK roleplay tomorrow, doing some Witches of Salem stuff. So if you're into that, come check it out. I forget what time it starts, but it's tomorrow night. This is what my life is now. On every other Tuesday and Thursday, so this coming Tuesday and this coming Thursday, I am part of TPK Roleplay's Module Week, so I'm in Odyssey of the Dragonlords on Tuesday and Tyranny of Dragons on Thursday, and that's every other week, so you can find me with that. I think that's all I have coming up. November is going to be a really quiet month, so that's
I mean, you did
pretty
just finish
much it.
Hecktober, so
Yeah, I
you
know.
deserve a quiet
Hacktober's
month.
almost over.
I know, right?
Crazy.
Sir Heck has been in
yeah.
everything.
Oh man, I don't know how it happened, but
You did it.
anyway. Oh, and also, yeah, I played Z, our College of Spirits bard, who's the storyteller. If you didn't know that from these last 3 hours. But
Or the
yeah, see you
overlay.
around.
Go ahead, Tate.
Yeah. Hello, Internet. My name is Tate Washburn. I played Wolf the Shifter Beast Barbarian with just as much werewolf boyfriend energy as I could possibly fit into him. I think I achieved that today, this time. Yeah. You can find me at kinda_writing on Twitter. Like I said at the top of this, mostly tabletop stuff, some politics, memes. Usually me just being overly caffeinated and with not enough sense. You also see me here tomorrow. I will be playing Kerp, the geeky engineer who understands that psychic ghost stuff exists, but he's like, no, there's a scientific explanation for that. Don't at me. Yeah, and definitely keep in mind, starting end of next month, gonna be doing the Violet Sea, the new campaign I'm gonna be running. Look forward to that. You should definitely follow this channel's Twitter account at Neon Lights Roleplay, because that's where we'll announce cool new stuff that we do all the time.
Mm-hmm. And I guess that leaves it with me. Folks, I'm called Young Foxxii, also known as Big Foxxii, aka your current and only favorite fox. I can be found on the Twitter sphere at Big Foxxii, that's BIG_FOXXII. I dunk on right-wingers, I slay fascists, it's a pretty good time. You can, like I said, find me tomorrow, or like everybody else said, find me tomorrow here for the conclusion of the Screaming Stars incident, our Halloween 2-shot. It should be great. Outside of that, you can find me usually hanging out in a couple different places. I will be over on Critical Misses for the conclusion of Forest in Flames sometime soon. We'll let you know. I will be over on TPK Roleplay once a month for Henshin a Go-Go. And also back in January, we'll come back with Cold Hands, Warm Hearts. And besides that, I'm hanging around here where I'm doing a lot of fun stuff in the background. Core Hearts is now firmly into its season, and it's some shit. So that's going fun. Looking forward to that. Beyond that, also have, like I said, Tate mentioned, Violet Sea's coming up real soon. It's going to be exciting. Looking forward to that at the end of the month. Just before that, in the middle of the month, I'll be launching my next campaign after the end, which is going to be, oh boy, it'll be something. I got a bombshell cast. It's going to be amazing. I can't wait to go through it with them. It's going to be exciting. Looking forward to it. And that's mostly all I got. Stay tuned here for more announcements. Like they all said, come hang out with us on Discord and Twitter, because that's where we do a lot of stuff. I hope you all had a lovely, amazing time hanging out with us. I'm thinking that we have a stream we could throw, or a raid we can throw over to... Ollie's still alive. We can hit Ollie up if we want to.
Ollie's still alive.
Let's do it to Ollie.
Hey,
Ollie's playing
we
some
did in
Dying
fact
Light.
speedrun this episode, like I said.
Hey, listen, I'm liking our 3-hour episode runtimes. They're pretty sexy. I'm fucking with them.
Yeah, works for me.
So we're gonna go shoot over to Ollie, who looks like he's in costume, which is cute. So go ahead and shoot over to her, give her some love, tell her we love her so much. We'll see you back here tomorrow, where I remind you all that space is haunted. But until then, have a great day. Enjoy yourselves. Eat some food, drink some water, get some rest. We love you all very, very much. Goodbye.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.